with that said, let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. A most straightforward low shot ever, Seth Rollins. You run, and I love Seth Rollins to death, but you run your mouth. You alienate everybody from you at the most inopportune time for your title reign when the Beast Incarnate is looking to get his. I mean, you would have to dig through the earth to stick Seth Rollins deep enough for how low he is tonight on my low shot. I mean, man, I can't remember the last time somebody had a worse night than Seth Rollins, except maybe Bale when he got his face eaten off. But, I mean, yeah, man, really rough night for the Architect.
I mean, it might not have been as bad of a night, but I think Paige is in a pretty similar situation, and that's why she's my low shot. Because she had this big plan. She's going to get all these divas, and they're going to basically unionize to take down the Bellas, and none of it worked. And then she went into a 2-on-1 handicap match with no backup plan and lost, and nothing happened. So, yeah, Paige is my low shot.
Yeah, perfectly understandable. I just don't understand why Paige can't really put all the pieces together. But hopefully in time somebody will come to her aid. Only time will tell. You know what? My high spot, I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. I'm going to keep in that same vein. This guy punked out the WWE World Heavyweight Champion just with his stare. He made the entire arena come unglued. And again, Lesnar continues to prove against all the naysayers and haters. And again, I have a tendency at times to be one because, I just really love what Lesnar does. This is why his current deal of showing up sporadically works. Because immediately upon arriving, he just took back his mantle of being the man. And everybody loved it, and everybody was hooked in, and it was just a stare down. And by the way, too, I'm going to use this opportunity to just make the point, I really love that there was no physical contact here, and given Lesnar's schedule, I don't think we'll see any physical contact until Battleground, and that's exactly how it should be, because if the selling point is, as I've been saying it is, Seth Rollins getting just eviscerated by Brock Lesnar, there cannot be any physical contact before Battleground. You want to savor every suplex, every punch, every F5. You want to save it all for the big event. So I'm really glad. I loved everything they did here and even the underlying implications of it. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar is my high spot.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to disagree with Brock Lesnar as a high spot tonight, but I'll try. I'm going to make my high spot Kevin Owens because not only did he have a match, which he won, which we can't say for Brock, but he also had an amazing segment where he intimidated somebody, which is also something that Brock did. But Kevin Owens was allowed to get physical, and he physically dominated some puny little wannabe.
Yeah, Kevin Owens makes bullying look amazing. Like, I used to think that...
and I'm sure that just knowing him, he would find a way to justify it to make it seem like it was the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, somebody on Twitter even did it for him, because I told you I was reading through all the hashtags of thank you, Owens. I mean, Machine Gun Kelly jabbed Kevin Owens in the chest with his finger. Either that or he just full-on shoved him.
Yeah, he shoved him. It was weird, because he used his right hand and he shoved Kevin Owens' right shoulder, and it was like across the chest, and it just looked weird, but yeah.
Yeah, so the guy came to Kevin Owens' defense, and he said, Kevin Owens was provoked. We don't know what Machine Gun Kelly would have done after that shove. So, Kevin Owens is just being preemptive. So, yeah, that should honestly be the justification. You shoved me. I responded in kind. Was it excessive force? I don't know. But, it happened. So there it is. Yeah, man, completely agree with your high spot. I knew you were going to pick him, and if you didn't, then I would have just had to go back and make Kevin Owens my honorary high spot, because what a great night he had. Had an amazing match with Ziggler, and then that segment with Machine Gun Kelly actually made the musical performance for a lot of people worthwhile just to see that kind of finish to the segment. So really cool stuff. With that said, let's roll right along to our Raw request. Oh, man. Honestly, my Raw request, I'm going to say, make Paige seem more competent, in the coming weeks. Even if you want to do the big reveal of who's going to help her at Battleground, which for the record, I don't think is going to happen. I think they will do it a bit earlier so they can hype up the show a little bit and the matchup. You got to make her seem a bit more intelligent. Like, I'm invested in this angle in one way because I love the energy that they're putting into the arrival, presumably, of an NXT women's wrestler, holding these conferences and making it, again, explicitly clear that nobody's going to come to Paige's defense. So I love all that, but don't make it come at the detriment of Paige. She's better than this. We've known for a long time she can be better than this. just do right by her and maybe have her, be happy. Maybe have her next week go into the Bella's locker room and be like, oh, what are you doing here, Paige? And she's like, oh, I just came to tell you that change that I've been talking about, I can assure you now that it's coming. And maybe she just kind of walks away with a little smile, makes the Bella sweat a little bit. Have her kind of retaliate, play the mind games, just be more credible, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's my Raw request.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I'm going to make my Raw request really simple. Keep your foot on the gas for Kevin Owens.
Definitely.
That's all that really need, because they're doing everything right so far with Owens. They got him the big clean win over Cena. Even though he lost to Cena last night, he still was the one that walked out because he put Cena into the apron, and Cena didn't show up tonight, and that's the biggest deal too. Like, Cena always no sells stuff like that, and he didn't show up tonight. And I'm sure he was in the dark match, so he didn't literally just not show up at the show, but it's just so cool to me that the WWE has the balls not only to have Kevin Owens attack Cena after the match, but then actually have Cena sell it. And just keep the pedal to the metal on the Kevin Owens bandwagon, because it needs to continue going at the rate that it's been, if not faster, because everything this guy touches turns to gold.
And we should mention here, Ashton, because I really apologize to everybody that didn't have the foresight to mention it earlier. In Kevin Owens' promo, he states explicitly that he wants a rematch with John Cena and he wants the U.S. title to be on the line. So we know that if they have a third matchup, it's probably going to be for the U.S. Championship. And considering Battleground is in 5 weeks, I think that should be after the July 4th Sumo Hall show. So could it be that Kevin Owens is going to drop the NXT Championship to Finn Balor and Kevin Owens just immediately picks up the U.S. title? That's the question here. But I think it does feed into your point. Yes, they've been handling Kevin Owens masterfully so far. And, right now I'm pretty confident he's going to win that rubber match. And if he does, I mean, what a great way to end John Cena's U.S. Championship reign by putting it on Kevin Owens. The U.S. title really has become the stepping stone title of 2015 for these guys. I mean, so many incredible people have been holding it. So great stuff. Completely agree. Actually, not only do I co-sign onto your Raw request, I would even, for me personally, add Dean Ambrose to that because I've been loving his babyface booking as of late. So I hope they keep on track with that as well. So really great job there.
See, and I think that there's some stuff that they could do better with Ambrose, but I think that they've been working with Owens absolutely perfectly.
Absolutely. So with that said, we only have one segment left. 30-second hot seat. So what do you got for me?
And for the first time in almost 2 months, I can actually ask you a Raw-related 30-second hot seat, right?
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm not gonna blow this. Oh, yes, perfect. Okay. With the tragic passing of Dusty Rhodes, how long do you think it's going to be before we see Goldust and or Cody Rhodes or Stardust? And more specifically, will it be Cody Rhodes or will it be Stardust? And when one or both of them do come back, what do you think they'll be doing? You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
Okay, I think we are definitely going to see the return of Cody Rhodes. And I think Cody Rhodes, he may actually get in a feud down the line for the United States Championship, because I don't know what the history that his dad has with that title. I think he does have some, though. And who knows, Kevin Owens just might be the champion, so I actually could envision a Kevin Owens-Cody Rhodes feud down the line. And that's just going to be my official prediction right now, because I really don't know how much farther into the future I can go. But I'll just say, yeah, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, U.S. Championship.
You don't think Goldust is coming back?
He'll come back, but I don't really know if he's going to do anything as significant. I mean, he may team with Cody a little bit, but that won't really turn into anything. I think the bigger picture here is Cody Rhodes going back to being his own man and gunning for that U.S. title. So
I could dig that. That was fun. You took exactly 30 seconds prior to me asking the follow-up about Goldust. So really well done. We nailed our spots tonight. I gave you a challenging enough question, and you got it another 30 seconds.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I could actually really get behind an Owens-Cody Rhodes feud, especially with Cody being Cody Rhodes, because his is phenomenal.
If he is actually allowed to be himself and he doesn't get this overly gimmicked up kind of shtick, like with, oh, he's dashing, oh, now he's grotesque, oh, now he's, just all these different stupid gimmicks that he's had, and he's made them all work, but I want summer of 2013 Cody Rhodes.
Yes, yeah.
When he
Definitely.
was being himself, he was talking about his wife and how important the job was and how big of a deal to win the tag titles with his brother and just being real. I want that Cody Rhodes if he's going to come back and feud with Kevin Owens.
And I think I'll say quote unquote being real Cody Rhodes is all, call him to make the distinction. Playing off of a guy like Kevin Owens would make for some memorable TV.
That's why, though. That's exactly why I want him to be himself.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, dude, honestly, what I love about the roster being so saturated is that if WWE just takes the time to really put something together, we can see matchups we've never seen before and matchups of a lot of intrigue. I mean, that's, kind of how I felt with Ryback versus Bray Wyatt, and I'd certainly feel that way, exponentially so with a program like Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. But with that said, do you have any concluding remarks you want to leave the audience with?
No, sir, but unfortunately, guys, just so that everyone's perfectly clear, I think that the main reason that we had the 2 consecutive weeks for a solid, 2 months, every 2 weeks we would have, because we were having pay-per-views so frequently, that's probably why our Raw reviews were so much shorter and our preview predictions were so much longer. So now we're kind of going to go back to the old format because of the fact that we're back to the normal pay-per-view schedule, and we'll just kind of see how it turns out.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't really reveal a ton tonight about what we think is going to happen at the next pay-per-view, but there was just a lot more to talk about tonight because of the fact that they aren't immediately saying, okay, this is what the next pay-per-view is going to be, and we aren't trying to hold anything back for that, because it was one of those things where during the weeks between the every 2-week pay-per-views that we were just dealing with, we would have entire segments that were sort of pay-per-view based and building to the pay-per-view, and we didn't really have any of that tonight, that we know of at least.
Right.
So yeah, that's why tonight's review's a little longer. I'm going to break it up into parts just like old times, and we're going to go back to that just for now, and we'll see how the response is.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, this has been Raw. This has been TwitWow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think of Monday Night Raw tonight? How much of a scumbag is Kevin Owens? What do you think about the main event of Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins? Does Seth have any chance at all of surviving in your mind right now? Be sure to take the conversation over to Tweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. I'm telling you guys, the best wrestling fans you will ever interact with. Such great people on there. But I get it. Not everybody's a social butterfly, as I used to hear in school. Some people just like to keep themselves, keep the conversations to a minimum. And if you are that type of person, it's cool. Ashton's got you covered because he's made a TwitWow subreddit. You can talk to him or me about all things pro wrestling that your heart desires. And we will see you again for our first ever Lucha Underground live reactions. It's Puma, it's Mundo, and it's happening all night long. For those of you that look forward to our NXT reviews, you can expect that coverage on Thursday, which is usually the case, with one show or the other. When we do that on Wednesday, it happens the following day, the other review. And yeah, guys, I'm telling you, like I said last week, those live reactions are can't miss. I promise you that. So be sure to tune in. And until then, tune in. Peace out.